What's going on, YouTube world? My name is Ghiman Mckinney. Appreciate you guys for tuning into the channel today. Be sure to like this video right now if you're rocking me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new as well. I do post a ton of great sports videos like this weekly and almost every single day if I can. Turn the post notifications too. You don't want to get caught like in the streets. You don't want to miss a video. Okay, look. Obviously, big major news in the NBA. Russell Westbrook is now a Houston Rocket. Does he make them better? Does he make them worse? Is this going to be a disaster? Will it work? Can Houston win a championship with Russell Westbrook on their team, paired with James Harden? We'll get that in a minute, but at first I wanted to address Oklahoma City. Look, Oklahoma City, it's obvious they're blowing up the team. They're obviously in rebuild mode. Once they traded Paul George, they pretty much said, hey, we've climbed the mountain. We can't get there. We couldn't get there with KD and Russell Westbrook and James Harden, which was disappointing. The fact that they did not keep that team together. The fact that Oklahoma City has had Kevin Durant, a top 2 player of his generation, of his era, I should say the 2010s. Russell Westbrook, James Harden, and the fact they had KD, James Harden, and Russell Westbrook on the same team and had zero hardware to show for it is sad, okay? That's pretty bad, but look, they obviously said, look, the past 3 years, we haven't even won a first-round playoff series. With Paul George, we couldn't beat the Utah Jazz. They've gotten better, okay? The Clippers have gotten better. Obviously, now they added Paul George thanks to Oklahoma City. The Lakers have gotten better. Denver added Jeremy Grant. Okay, it's a lot of moving parts in the West. And Oklahoma City, they weren't going to win a championship anytime soon. The fact that they could not win a first-round playoff series this year with Paul George having an MVP-type year was a major sign. They honestly need to blow the team up. I think Sam Presti realized that he traded Paul George. And look, Oklahoma City, as far as the rebuild goes, I like where they're at, okay? You got 15 first-round picks from 2020 to 2026. Man, that's crazy. I mean, I've never heard of a team that had 15 first-round picks from about a 6 to 7 year period in my lifetime. I've never heard of that. So that's a great job. Shout out to Sam Presti. He obviously drafted KD. He obviously drafted Russell Westbrook. He obviously drafted Steven Adams. Obviously drafted James Harden. Obviously drafted Serge Ibaka. So he has the ability to draft players, okay? So we'll see what he can do as far as drafting the next future for Oklahoma City. But as far as Houston goes, a lot of people are thinking, man, James Harden and Russell Westbrook, this is a terrible fit, man. What is this? There's only one ball. There's only one ball. There's some people that's thinking, man, Russell Westbrook, man, he can't even shoot. He's shooting 65% from free throw range. He can't hit shots anymore. He's not a very good three-point shooter. How's he going to fit in with Mike D'Antoni's system, okay, who just shoots threes all day long? I mean, he can't get past the first round without Kevin Durant on his own. I mean, it's a lot of questions. And look, I agree. Russell Westbrook and James Harden are 2 ball-dominant scorers. I get it. I'm here to tell you, I like this move. I do. I understand. I fully acknowledge I could be fully wrong. And I will take full responsibility for this if Russell Westbrook and James Harden just stink up the joint and look terrible next year. If it doesn't work, if they look terrible in the playoffs, if they can't get over the hump again, I will fully admit that I'll be wrong. I'm going out on a limb and saying this is going to work. I really do feel like this is going to work. And I'll explain why. First of all, as far as CP3 goes, Russell Westbrook is an upgrade over him. CP3 was going to be 35 when the playoffs hit next year. You mean to tell me a 35-year-old Chris Paul is going to average over 20 points per game and help James Harden in the playoffs? No, he's not. Okay, in that Golden State Warriors series, CP3 honestly underperformed in my opinion. Look, he did shoot well from the field, but he was not necessarily the natural scorer he used to be. CP3 used to be able to drop 20 to 25 points easily a night in the playoffs, shoot over 47%. He's not that guy anymore. He's not the guy that consistently can give you 20 plus points per game in the playoffs. Eric Gordon was the second option for the Rockets as far as the Golden State Warriors Houston Rockets series goes. Okay, look, I understand that the Houston underperformed without KD being there for the Warriors. The Warriors obviously beat them in Game 6. I get it, but look, Russell Westbrook from a talent perspective and from an age perspective, because Russell Westbrook's going to be 31 by the time the playoffs hit next year, okay? From that perspective, they got better, okay? They definitely got better as far as youth goes, as far as extending their championship window, because honestly, I mean, I know I said if Houston ran it back this year, they could potentially win a title with Kawhi Leonard, with LeBron James in the West right now, with the Lakers, with the Clippers, with the Nuggets adding players, with the Jazz getting better, okay? You still got Portland, who's nasty, who added Hassan Whiteside. You weren't going to win a championship with CP3 being your point guard. The fact that he had a bad relationship with James Harden, the fact that James Harden hated him. I mean, it was reported that him and CP3 were always disputing, and CP3 has a history of disputing with teammates. It goes back to Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan in Los Angeles with the Clippers. They hated him. They didn't really like playing with him. They said he was very hard on them. They said he was difficult to play with, okay, as far as his attitude goes. The thing about Russell Westbrook, people can say, hey, it's hard to play with Russell Westbrook. And I get it, his style of play sometimes is hard to play with. That's one of the reasons why I think KD and Paul George left. One thing that I never heard them say is Russell Westbrook's been a bad teammate. I've never heard that from them. Okay, so Russell Westbrook, as far as a locker room cancer goes, I don't see that being an issue. I think James Harden and Russell Westbrook once shared a locker room in Oklahoma City. They went to NBA Finals together. Obviously, they were much different players. Russell Westbrook at the time was a much better player than James Harden. James Harden was coming off the bench. Obviously, now it's changed. I believe James Harden is definitely a more better player than Russell Westbrook now. I think James Harden is one of the top 5 players in basketball right now. I think Russell Westbrook falls somewhere from top 10 to about top 15. Okay, Russell Westbrook's stock's gone down a little bit. The fact that he can't get past the first round. But as far as someone that can just take the pressure off James Harden, the past couple years in the playoffs, I mean, he had Patrick Beverley a couple years ago in the playoffs. He had Jason Terry starting for him at point guard. Look, I like Jason Terry. I like Patrick Beverley. I like Chris Paul. But none of them are the scorers that Russell Westbrook has been. Okay, CP3 obviously for 1 year. And look, CP3, it did work. Look, one thing about Daryl Morey, I will say this. Daryl Morey is pretty much that guy in high school that does not care what you think. He's going to shoot his shot to get the girl of his dreams. Daryl Morey didn't care what anyone thought about CP3. A lot of people gave him heat, said, man, CP3 and James Harden, they're two ball dominant guys. They're two guys with high usage rates, okay? They're not going to work. Daryl Morey said, I don't care. That he's just like that guy in high school that says, I don't care about how many people clown me on social media. If I ask this chick out to a date, I want to get that first date. I want an NBA championship, Daryl Morey's pretty much saying. Okay, so look, Daryl Morey doesn't care what you think. He's obviously going to take risks. And I honestly think this is a calculated risk. I think this risk might work. It has the potential to work, okay? Russell Westbrook, from an athletic perspective, he can get to the hole. He's a 25-point per game scorer in the playoffs, okay? I think that just the fact that he's never had a better point guard by his side. He never has. On paper, Russell Westbrook is a better player right now than Chris Paul is in his career. Russell Westbrook averaged a triple-double for 3 straight years. I understand that some of those stats are a little bit empty, but look, the fact that Russell Westbrook's averaging over 10 assists with hardly no shooters on his team in Oklahoma City over the past couple years, as much as people hate to say it, I've come to the realization Oklahoma City was a bad basketball fit for Russell Westbrook these past 3 years. Oklahoma City is not a three-point shooting team. They're just not. The last year, they were 15th in three-point field goals made. The year he dragged them to the playoffs when he won MVP in 2016, 2017, they were 26th in three-point shooting. You want to know why Russell Westbrook probably couldn't get past the first round of the playoffs? It probably was because they did not have shooters around him. In Houston loves the three ball. Houston, the past 3 years, have been top 4 in three-point field goals made. Obviously, they've set record shooting threes. Last year, this past year and last year, the last 2 years, the last 2 seasons, Houston, the number 1 three-point shooting team. It's not been the Warriors. It's been the Rockets the past 2 years. Obviously, in the playoffs, it dips a little bit. But, hey, as far as a mentality, as far as analytics, as far as, like I said, just an overall basketball change, Oklahoma City, they were late to the three ball. They are not into analytics. They're not into three-point shooting. Russell Westbrook had Doug McDermott for 1 year. Obviously they had Kevin Martin when he had Kevin Durant in Oklahoma City. Okay, but look, Russell Westbrook never, I repeat, never has had consistent three-point shooters around him. Paul George and him never had the consistent three-point shooters around him. In Houston, you got PJ Tucker, you got James Harden, you got Gerald Green. Okay, you got Eric Gordon. You got Iman Shumpert. I mean, those are 4 or 5 shooters right there off the bat that Russell Westbrook will love throwing the ball to, will love passing the ball to. So I get an upgraded point guard who's a lot more athletic and a better scorer at this point than CP3. CP3 is going to be 35. CP3 is done for. You need to extend that period for James Harden. I think that if Russell Westbrook, Look, I understand. Look, Russell Westbrook and James Harden, they've had a history of struggles in the playoffs. Obviously, Russell Westbrook didn't even shoot 30% from the field. He shot 30%. I'm sorry. He didn't even shoot 40% from the field. Obviously, in the playoffs this year. James Harden, obviously in the clutch, has not been there for his team in the playoffs. I think at this point in their career, they're going to be willing to say, hey, let's just sacrifice for each other. Let's just try to win. Because honestly, both our windows are closing. James Harden's window's closing. Russell Westbrook's window is closing. They're both not getting any younger, okay? Russell Westbrook obviously went into a shooting slump this year. Couldn't even shoot 30% from three. Obviously, has religiously struggled to shoot 30% from three for his career. Obviously, in the playoffs, his shooting struggles have been documented. And obviously, this year, he struggled to shoot free throws. He dipped to a 65% free throw shooter. But like I said, I just think a new scenery change in Oklahoma and Houston from Oklahoma City will help him. A different mentality will help Russell Westbrook. The fact that the Houston Rockets have a boatload of shooters, Oklahoma City at the very most just one shooter that you can consistently rely on the past couple years, I think it's a good fit for Russell Westbrook. I think him and James Harden on paper look very good, and honestly, I really do think it'll work. I think it's going to work. I really do. They can potentially win a championship. Let's not forget, guys. The Houston Rockets won 53 games with Clint Capella, with Eric Gordon, with CP3 missing 15 plus games. All three of them missed 14, 15 plus games. They still won 53 games in the regular season. I mean to tell you, they would have gotten to over 60 wins if they had their full squad this year. I think Houston rebooted. I understand it's a risk. It has the potential to blow up in their face. It has the potential to blow up in their face. I understand it, but you have to take that risk. You have to shoot your shot with the girl. You gotta take the risk, okay? You just have to. And look, Daryl Morey got a lot of heat for trading for CP3, and it worked. They were one game away from the NBA Finals. One game away. And a lot of people think if CP3 played in that series, not Oklahoma City, the Golden State Warriors probably would have gone home. Now, I'm not one of those people. I personally thought the Golden State Warriors would still find a way to win that game. But honestly, they were one game away from the finals, and let's be real. If they would have got to the finals, they would have beaten that sorry old Cleveland Cavaliers team. I understand LeBron James was great, but his team was terrible, okay? But look, like I said, Houston got better. Russell Westbrook will work with James Harden. You heard it here first. I fully acknowledge that I could be totally wrong on this. But Russell Westbrook, as far as a basketball fit, as far as dishing out to people, let's not forget, Russell Westbrook averaged over 10 assists per game the past 4 years, okay? I think it's going to work. He's going to be dishing to three-point shooters. He's not going to be dishing to Steven Adams. He's not going to be dishing to Nick Collison. He's not going to be dishing to Victor Oladipo who's a devoid of shooting. He's going to be dishing to shooters. Eric Gordon, okay? Iman Shumpert, James Harden, okay? PJ Tucker. Just from a basketball cultural perspective, I think Russell Westbrook's new scenery change will help him. The one thing I will say that holds me back just a little bit with this move is, can Mike D'Antoni coach up this team? Can he get Russell Westbrook to buy in to three-point shooting? Can he get the most out of Russell Westbrook, who has been a terrible shooter the past couple years, okay? Can he coach this team up? Obviously, Mike D'Antoni has had a lot of history, disappointing in the playoffs, obviously with the Phoenix teams he's had, obviously with his Rockets team. The Rockets have not been very good in situational basketball, in my opinion. I think Mike D'Antoni deserves as much blame as James Harden and some of these players for not coming up in the clutch. So I think Mike D'Antoni is the biggest X factor in this situation. Can he get the most out of these players? Can he coach them up the right way? Can he build a system around Russell Westbrook? Can he get Russell Westbrook to buy in? Can he coach two ball-dominant scorers once again into success? We'll have to see. I think he did a decent job with CP3. I really do. But didn't win any championships. Mike D'Antoni, you got to get over the hump, man. Eventually. You got it. I'm sorry. You need to get over the hump. But hey, like I said, I like this move. I really deep down like this move for Houston. Call me crazy. I understand. I like the move. I think Russell Westbrook will work with James Harden. You heard it here first. I think it's definitely an upgrade over CP3. And let's be real. Houston's now a contender for a title once again. They're right up there with the Lakers. They're right up there with the Clippers. I don't think they're a better team than the Clippers. They might be a better team than the Lakers. We'll have to see. The Lakers have a lot of moving parts. I don't know how LeBron James is going to look in a 17 season. We'll see. But hey, I like the move for Houston. I really do. And deep down, I think it's going to work. And let me tell you right now, Russell Westbrook and James Harden can win a championship together. That's my take. That's a wrap for this video. Be sure to like the video right now. If you're rocking me, subscribe to my channel if you're new as well. Turn on the post notifications too. You don't want to miss a video. It's my favorite thing in the world to do, make these YouTube videos for you guys. Comment if you think that Russell Westbrook is going to work in Houston. Tell me where I'm right. Tell me where I'm wrong. Will they win a championship? Can they win a championship together? Or will this be a total disaster? It's my favorite thing in the world to do, make these YouTube videos for you guys. I'm potentially looking to go to ESPN, Fox Sports 1, or a big time network one day. So just help me grow this channel. I'm starting something special. Just help me grow. Share this channel on Facebook, share it on Twitter, put a link in your description. All I guess to just help me grow by telling your friends about this channel. Just like and subscribe and watch my videos. I really appreciate it. I love you guys. I love making YouTube videos. been your boy Ghiman Mckinney, and I'm Ghost. Have a blessed day. You guys, I'm out.